Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning in for another episode. I got a good video topic suggestion from a viewer the other day. They said, Matt, if I'm coming to your house to pick you up in the morning and I'm not going to tell you where we're going, we might be flying to some other place in the country and you can only bring 5 baits. What would those baits be? And I thought that this was a pretty interesting topic, and I really thought it might be pretty simple once you start going through tackle, but the reality is it's actually a pretty difficult one, and I could spend hours really trying to figure out what the 5 baits are that I want, because without knowing the lake you're going to, the conditions of that lake, the time of year, water clarity, what the type of bass you're gonna be fishing for, it's not as simple as you think. But I thought it would be a fun one to do. So I sat down here, probably spent way too much time actually going through different baits, trying to figure out which ones I would use. But these are the ones I've come up with right now. And there's really no specific color to it, but these baits are the ones that I feel like I have to have when I'm going any place in the country. So, these baits generally would work regardless of time of year, regardless of the water type, the certain conditions, the type of species that we're fishing for. They just work everywhere we go, and that's probably why they're some of the more popular baits as well. So let's dive right into it in no particular order. The first thing I kind of did with this is I feel like I relate back to when I take other people fishing and what are some baits I like to give those individuals. And that really just comes down to it, they just generate a lot of bites. So from that standpoint, one of the first baits that I would end up taking is a Finesse swim bait. This is a 3-3 Kitech Fat Impact. I really like Sungill, but again, I'm not really providing colors in this manner. If I were going and you could only to make me grab one color, it would be like the Pro Blue Red or Smallmouth Magic, one of those. But the Sungill is a really good one as well. The point here is this is just a really good bait for fishing multiple layers of the water column. You can bring it right under the surface. You can fish it for suspended fish. You can drag it on the bottom. But no matter where you're at in the country, a small finesse swim bait generates a lot of bites. So I would definitely have one of these guys or a pack of these guys with me. And I'll put links in the video description for each of these baits I talk about. Great way to support the channel if you want to do that and you're looking to purchase some tackle. Please use my Tackle Warehouse affiliate link for that. And like I said, I'll put the links in the video description, and this one would be there for sure. Another one that probably wouldn't surprise anyone is this guy. This is the Berkeley Max Scent, the General, the 5-inch size. So basically a 5-inch soft stick bait. This happens to be my favorite one. Won a lot of money on this bait. And it's just, again, it's one of those baits that you can fish in so many different manners. If you want to rig it up on a wacky rig and skip it up under docks, you can do that. If you want to put it on a Carolina rig, on a Texas rig, you can fish it basically anywhere. It's always amazed me. It's a soft stick bait is one of the most boring looking baits out there, but they just generate so many bites. There's something really good about that profile of a bait, and you have to have some no matter where you go in the country. Florida, New York, it doesn't matter. Wherever you're at, you will be able to catch fish on your soft stick baits like this Max Scent the General. So I would have one. If I'm given one color, I would go with green pumpkin or green pumpkin black tail. That's a really good one. And then another bait that just no matter where you seem to go in the country generates a lot of strikes is your Zoom Super Fluke. A pearl color one is one of the ones that I probably would go with first. Just again, you can fish these in basically a limitless a number of different techniques. Whether you want to use it as a trailer, but if you've only been given one bait, you probably couldn't use it as a trailer. But again, you can fish it on a Carolina rig. You can throw them weightless. You can fish them on a drop shot. Just a really good bait that over the test of years upon years have caught probably more bass than almost any other bait out there. If you were to give me, if there was some way to measure the number of bass that have been caught on baits over the lifespan of all these baits, I would say these three right here that I've talked about would probably be very high up on that list of baits that just catch fish. So those three soft plastics really would do a very good job of covering my soft plastics for me. I thought about throwing like the Pit Boss in there. I think the Pit Boss would be a really good choice as well. Very, very versatile. I've talked about that bait a whole ton. So maybe I would throw in some form of a flipping bait. But the reality is, if I'm looking to flip, I could flip with this guy as well. So if I'm only given 5 baits, I don't know that I want another plastic. So that leaves me with wanting a couple of baits that I think are very versatile. So one of those would be this guy right here. This is the Core Tackle Swim Jig in the bluegill color. Just a fantastic all around weedless presentation that, again, I can fish in so many different manners. If I want to fish this thing through emerging grasses and do it in a weedless manner, I can do it. If I want to fish it through submerged grass, I can do it. If I want to fish it deeper on points and slow roll it, I can do it. If I want to skip it up under cables and fish around docks, I can do it. It gives me a really good presentation to fish a minnow style profile or a bait fish profile in a weedless presentation. So depending on what lakes you're going to, you might have to have weedless presentations, or if you're fishing a lot of flooded bushes. So from that standpoint, there are some other options that kind of fall in this category where you could have had a spinner bait or a vibrating jig. The thing is, a swim jig is like part of me at this point. So from that standpoint, I would choose this over any of those other kind of skirted baits because I think I can do more with this than with those other ones. So Core Tackle Swim Jig would definitely be one. And then the last one was kind of a toss up between a jerk bait or a lipless. I ended up going with the lipless. This is the Berkeley Jack 6 size, the half-ounce size. Um, I just feel like I'm more versatile again with a lipless and a lipless. A lipless and a jerk bait are probably the two best hard baits at generating strikes from all species of game fish. Um, so from that standpoint, I think it's got to be one of the top baits you got to look at taking. The reason I kind of took this bait over a jerk bait was because I felt like I covered a jerk bait somewhat with both the fluke and the swim bait, and I wanted something that I could fish a little bit more aggressively and fish a little bit deeper. And that's why I went with the jack. One of my favorite ways to fish lipless crankbaits, one being in really fast water, so like in rapid type situation, current, and like really shallow rock flats. And then the other is really deep. I like to yo-yo it down ledges. So for me to have a jack or a lipless crankbait that I could get down into that 20-foot range makes it more versatile than, say, throwing a jerkbait. But a jerkbait would be a good choice as well. I just felt like I had to expand a little bit away from the presentations that I already had. So those are the 5 baits that I think I would choose. Again, if you're making me choose a lipless color, I would probably go with a bait fish color over maybe a red one. This is the Stealth Shad specifically is this color. It's kind of just a toned down shad color. You could definitely go with your, classic red style lipless crankbaits, but without knowing what time of year or where I'm going, I probably would choose a minnow colored one versus a crayfish colored one. But those are the 5 that I'm choosing. Again, there's a lot of different direction you could take this. A lot of fun to do this, a lot of fun to sit and just think about what it would be and what I would take and not want to take. Not as easy as you think. I challenge you guys. What do you guys think would be the 5 baits you'd have to take? Put it in the comment section. I'd love to see what you guys have to say as well. But these are the ones I'm going with, and I'm sticking with it for right now. So thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate all of you. If you enjoyed today's video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Stay tuned. We'll have a new one coming out tomorrow.